Waterproof sticker sheets are one of the two best-selling products in my small business and my shop, but they are so expensive to manufacture and outsource, and prices keep going up. So in 2024, I decided to move all my sticker production in-house. It was definitely a process, so I wanted to make this tutorial in case you are struggling to make sticker sheets with your cutting machine, or if you're just curious about how it works. This is my pain-free process of how to make sticker sheets at home using the Loklik iCraft, my new favorite cutting machine for a very specific reason. They have this feature called a task list, and it is a game changer when it comes to using cutting machines. I am so excited for this. I hope you find this video useful. Let's get into it and make ourselves some sticker sheets. In this video, we're gonna make kiss cut sticker sheets, and what that means is we're gonna have a sheet and the stickers are gonna be cut out, but they're not gonna be cut all the way through. So if they were cut all the way through, that would be a die cut, which you would see in a single sticker. And then a kiss cut means that it is halfway cut through so that you can peel off the sticker, but the actual underlying paper is not cut out. To make kiss cut stickers at home, there are a few supplies that you'll need. The most important material that you'll need is sticker paper. These are often sold as A4 pages, at least here in the UK, and you can get a few different versions. I have two different types of sticker paper that I've used for my small business, and I definitely know which one I prefer, but it is a bit pricier. The first one that I've used, and this is the one that I used when I first started out, it is not waterproof, is a matte white from Evergreen Goods. It is a good sticker paper, but I feel like the matte one just doesn't catch color as well as other papers do, so I swapped to this one. This is a vinyl sticker paper and it's from ASUB, and when you buy that you have to be so careful that you get the correct one, because ASUB makes separate sticker papers for inkjet printers and for laser printers. I personally have an inkjet printer. I use the Epson EcoTank 8500. I personally find that the vinyl sticker paper from ASUB, the matte one, catches color beautifully. The ASUB paper is a lot more expensive. Even though the ASUB sticker is technically waterproof, I personally also use it for planner stickers because it is nice and thin. And when I want to make like proper waterproof stickers, I do add an overlay to this. And for that I use clear laminating pouches. You can either use heat activated lamination pouches with a laminator, or you can buy self-adhesive lamination sheets. And later in the video I'm going to show you exactly why I've chosen to use these ones instead of the self-adhesive ones. In terms of the home equipment you will need a home printer and you will need a cutting machine. These two have to work together as well. They have to be connected together, which you do through a software on your computer. So you'll need a computer as well. They are not heavy programs, so you can use like an old laptop. That shouldn't be a problem. The cutting machine I'm going to use in this video is from Loklik. It is their new iCraft crafting machine. It is an interesting crafting machine in that it is much lower in price than other crafting machines on the market. And right now they also have a launch offer, which I will put in the description if you're interested. For this video we're cutting sticker paper and laminated sticker paper, but the Loklik iCraft can cut a whole bunch of different materials. And if you're using heat laminated sheets like I am, then you will also need a heat laminator. One of the most important things for making sticker sheets at home and having success and kind of a painless experience with all the tech actually comes down to how you prepare your artwork before you start. So we're going to jump into my drawing software and I'm going to show you just quick and easy ways that I prepare my artwork for a more painless experience when it comes to jumping onto the tech after. Let's go do that! In this part of the video I'm going to show you how to clean up your artwork. Essentially what you want is one background layer that is your full sticker sheet illustration with the stickers included on it, and that part needs to have a wider bleed around the stickers. So don't worry that these edges are like sticking out too much. They're not going to be cut out like that, but you need to have them on the actual sticker sheet. If you just use a white background, then you don't need to worry about that at all, but if you're like me and you have colored backgrounds, then you definitely need to consider it. And for your second layer, you just need to have your sticker artwork, nothing else, and you need to make sure that the stickers are not touching each other and that they have a millimeter or two in between them. Manufacturers typically say 3 millimeters, that is the safe zone, but I find that 1 or 2 is usually enough. Whenever you set up a crafting machine for the first time, you will need to do something called a calibration. Essentially, the machine makes you print a page like this, and it then cuts through all these stripes, and you have to select which ones are the most accurate ones and go from there. The machine has a full guide for this, so you don't need me to explain it. I feel like this is the same for every single crafting machine I've ever tried, like the Cricut or the Silhouette and now the Loklik. It does take quite a few attempts to get that calibration right, or it can. In my case it usually takes around 5 to 6. With the Loklik I did 5 and now it cuts perfectly. So it's definitely worth that effort, but if you find yourself in a situation where calibration is taking a bit longer, just keep that in mind. It is worth the effort and you will get there. I now have all my sticker sheets set up, so we are gonna head into the Loklik Idea Studio and we're gonna make our sticker sheets. Now we're in Loklik Idea Studio and I am going to import my artwork. So I just go over here to upload. I'm gonna start by importing the background. So we're gonna just click open. You do have to import the file separately. That is the same with every cutting machine I've ever used. You now have to specify what kind of image you have. So we're going to choose a print and cut because we need to print it before we cut it. Here in these settings you do have like options to remove the backgrounds and stuff. I never use these personally, but it is something you can play around with if you wanted to. And next up it's going to ask us to specify our cut lines. I don't tend to edit these at all. I tend to just use what the software generates for me. The reason I can do that is because I've cleaned up my artwork beforehand, and so I know that my outlines are crisp and they are of high quality, and the software should be able to read that nicely. But if you wanted to, you could go shrink or expand, and you can also go to view contour to just double check that it is following your shapes accurately. If you ever find that you're having issues with the software reading the shapes, it might be that the software thinks your artwork has either soft edges, or it might be blurry, or it might be lower quality than what the software wants. So I always recommend making your stuff a bit larger than what you need it to be. These files are made in 400 dpi as well. Then you just hit design when you're ready, and there you go. So I now have my first sheet imported. It never seems to matter how big or how small I make my artwork, it always seems to import it in this size regardless. So don't worry if it looks really small when you import it. Chances are you can increase the size if you know that the file is bigger. And now I'm not going to move it, but I am going to go to upload again, and we're going to choose our stickers. And we're just going to repeat the very same process. One thing I really like about the Loklik software specifically is that it's quite quick to import your artwork. This one is struggling a little bit like this image, but in general. Okay, so now we have the sticker artwork. This is where I want to just double check on the contour that none of the stickers are linking together. So I want to make sure that everything has a space and there are no like holes or anything in my stickers as far as I can see. Everything looks good, so I'm going to hide the contour again and go to design. You don't have to click hide contour, that's just me being superstitious. And now, as you can see, we have our two files. Now I want these to be located at the exact same spot on my canvas. By the way, if your canvas looks different than mine, I have mine set up over here under page setup. So I've gone here, I've chosen my machine, and under material size I've set it to A4 because that is what I'm printing on. If you're printing on like US leather, you will need to change that here first, and you can then choose done. So the first thing on the agenda is to make sure that our two layers line up perfectly. I am going to be inputting numbers up here rather than trying to place things manually. So first I want to rotate both of them, and Loklik is a bit strange. It doesn't make these changes until you click the canvas again. There you go. And now I want them all to be in the same position, and now they're all up in this corner if I zoom in. But yeah, as you might see, I have a little bit of a gap, and I'm actually going to increase that gap a little bit. But what it is that Loklik will print some black lines along here, and this is, I think they're going to fix this in the future. It is a bit of an annoying bug, I think. Cricut, for example, it will push your artwork away from those borders. Loklik doesn't do that. So you have to make sure that you are within these dotted borders, and you have to allow a little bit of a wiggle room as well. And now I'm gonna select them all again, hit Ctrl+C to copy and Ctrl+V to paste. Now you will see that all of the images that we imported are in different groups. But if we want to be able to cut them together, then we have to have them in the same group. I'm going to collapse them all, and then I'm going to select them all. And then we're going to go down to the bottom of the layers panel down here, and we're going to select group. And that just means that Loklik will allow us to cut all of these images in the same go. I adjusted my sizes a little bit, but now that we have everything laid out, it is time to hit the printers. First of all, you need to select the group that you want to print, and you will not be able to click this make button unless you have a group selected. And I'm gonna name this, just so I know that that's the whole sheet. I'm labeling my sticker layers as stickers, and I'm now going to make them invisible. We do not want them visible when we go to print our project, because depending on what kind of printer you have, it might add a gradient outline which looks dirty in the final image. It's weird, I don't know why it does it. It might just be my printer, but I thought I would mention it in case you have the same issue. So I have deactivated those, and I'm gonna make the background layers visible. Gonna rename them background as well. So before you can make this, you need to select the group and click make. In mode selection, we're gonna choose print then cut because we need to print our images and then cut them. I'm just gonna go to start printing, and it does have a little reminder, do not move the image on the canvas after you've printed because that's gonna mess up the positioning. And we're gonna choose print. And before I hit OK, I'm gonna load my sticker paper. One thing I love about the A-sub sticker paper is that it has writing on the back so that you always know which side is the front. I always recommend, by the way, that you do a test cut on a cheaper paper. Like when I was testing these out before filming this tutorial, I first tried it on like cheap cartridge paper just to make sure that the calibration is working nicely, because it's so disappointing if you use your expensive materials and then something goes wrong. Now that we have our sticker sheets printed, we are technically ready to put them into the Loklik. But if you do want to laminate them, I'm going to show you how to do that. I always get reactions when I do Artist Alley events. People see that my sticker sheets are waterproof and they will express that kind of out loud, be like, oh yeah, they're waterproof, you can put them on your phone and things like that. And even though the A-sub sticker paper is technically waterproof, like you can put it underwater, it's fine, but it doesn't last very long because the inks can still rub off. So if you want to make them extra durable, then laminating them is such a nice way of just adding that extra touch of luxury. So that is what we're going to be doing now. By the way, if you're making planner stickers, don't laminate them because people want those to be like super thin and lightweight, so they would just look bulky if they were laminated. But for vinyl stickers and bigger stickers you want to put on devices and things, lamination is great. To laminate my stickers, I use the Cronova laminator, and I am all out of desk space, so I'm going to be laminating on the floor. Any laminator is a good laminator. I've found I've never had one that wasn't good. This is the second one I've ever had. I stopped using laminators for a long time, so I gifted mine. Now I need it again, so I bought a new one. And I basically bought the cheapest white one that I could find because I wanted it to match my other text. We got our sticker sheet laminated and it's looking so cute. And if you try to pull at the edges now, I won't do too much, but if you try to pull, you'll see that it actually rips off like the sticker paper with it, which means that it is perfectly stuck to your sticker. Yay! Next up, we're gonna send it through the Loklik at last. And to do that, you need a adhesive mat. I definitely recommend the light grip mats for stickers, or if you have like a normal grip mat that has been used quite a bit so it's less tacky, that will also be good. Now that we've laminated our sticker sheets, we're gonna cut out the stickers before we cut out the actual sheet. And here comes the first like more technical stuff we're gonna do. This is how I set up my sticker sheets for printing. It might be that other people do it differently, but this is the method that I found has had the most success in terms of having a nice calibration and a decent cut. So as you can see, I only have my rectangles here, so we're only gonna be cutting the outer edges of our sticker sheets. Now obviously we don't want to do that first because then the paper would slip around on our cutting mat, so we can't do it first, but we're still going to set up the cut because Loklik has this amazing thing called a task list, which is up here, and here are just some previous cuts that I've done. So if I clear that, you'll see there are no tasks, no data, none of that, but this is where we can queue up the different cuts that we want to do. So we're gonna select our rectangle, and now if we go to type, it says please select, and we click that and it's going to give us all of our materials. So we're actually going to create our own material for this. So I am gonna name this laminated sticker sheet, and the force 11. I'm gonna set the range between 6 and 11 because I'm never gonna need it to be below 6. For this project, we're gonna use the fine point blade. Passes means how many times are we cutting around this, like how many times are we repeating this cut. I'm gonna set it to 3. And speed, it's such a non-detailed cut. It doesn't have to be massively slow. Like if you had something that was super detailed, you would want to go down to 1 or 2. I might go 5 just to not exaggerate, but I'm convinced you could probably do 8 if you wanted to. Okay, so laminated sticker sheet, and I am gonna save this. There we go. And if I now exit this, I'll be able to go to my materials and I'll find laminated sticker sheets. I'm also going to give that a star, and that just means that it will show up in the future as well. So I'm going to select laminated sticker sheets. And now that I have that all set up to go, I'm going to add that to my task list, just like that. Now, typically, if you wanted to cut straight away, you would just hit start after you load your mat. But I'm not going to do that because we need to go. So that's going to be saved, by the way. This task is going to stay in our task list until we go in and delete it. So we will will head back by clicking cancel. And now we're back in our project. So what we want to do is to activate our stickers again. And I'm gonna deactivate the layer that's called layer in both background folders. What that does is it's gonna tell the machine, I don't want to cut that just yet, but I do want to focus on these stickers. And I'm gonna set up a cut for the stickers on the different sticker sheets separately. So I'll show you how I'm doing that. I hope it makes sense. But again, we're gonna click print and cut. We've already printed, so we can just click that. And now we're gonna select this area. It says colors. It basically just means your layers. And I can see it's just one sticker layer here, so I'm gonna select type of material. And under my favorites, I have matte printable vinyl sticker paper. I have adjusted the force to be 8. You might have to adjust that a little bit to like find the perfect one for the materials that you use. For me, 8 works really well. For the speed, I've increased it to 6 because I don't have anything like super detailed on this either. And past this, I'm only doing 1. So I'm gonna click add to task. And here you can see it showed up next to my rectangles. For the rectangles, by the way, I don't cut them separately. I have both of them on the same sheet. But for the individual stickers, I've found that they cut better if I just add them to a task list separately. I don't know why that is. Now I'm back in my project again, and I'm gonna deactivate the stickers layer that I just created a task for. And I'm gonna activate the one that I hadn't made a task for yet. We clicked make again, and now we are genuinely just repeating the process. So print then cut, printed, we select our group, just make sure that is the right layer, and then select your material, which is going to be printable vinyl sticker paper, and add to task. We now have all of our tasks that we need, but before we go to cut, I'm gonna go back again, and now I'm back in my canvas, and I'm gonna activate everything. And then click make again. I'm not entirely sure if activating all the layers again makes a difference or not, but it feels to me like it does. So again, I'm going to choose print then cut, already printed, and now I am not adding any more tasks. I'm now going to go to the task list up here, and we have all our tasks. So I'm going to start with one of my sticker layer tasks. And you can see, if you just look at the image, you can see a visualization of it. Before I hit start, I need to load my mat, so let's do that. And now we're just gonna go through the tasks. I think the biggest tip that I can really give in terms of working with a cutting machine is don't get discouraged if it doesn't work with the first cut. When I was setting up this machine, because I hadn't used this particular brand or model before, it was different than what I'm used to, and so there were some headaches along the way. Having said that, I've never had a cutting machine where I could just set it up like in one evening and then in the next day it's just ready to go and everything works. It is a pretty cool experience. The Loklik iCraft is a new machine, and I think that the software has a few like little quirks that needs ironing out, but there's nothing like wrong with it. It's just that it could be smoother in the way that it works, and that's all right. The Loklik iCraft is a surprisingly good cutting machine, especially considering the price, but also like the other cutting machine I have in my studio is a Cricut Maker, and the iCraft is about half the price what that was, and it can still cut the exact same materials, which I think is pretty fun. I'm really excited to have this cutter in my studio, and I feel like going forwards when I'm making products, I'll be using the iCraft to make sticker sheets, and I will be focusing like my packaging on the Cricut instead. They're both really good cutters. I don't think you'll go wrong with either of them, but the Loklik iCraft and Loklik Idea Studio, which is their software, it has this function called a task list, which means that you can stagger cuts. If you're working in one project, you can still use like 3 different images and assign 3 different materials to them and do like different cuts, which is very exciting. And if you've never used a cutting machine before, don't worry about that part, because these questions will arise as you are, making projects and you're getting used to how the whole thing works. I also wanted to point out that if I do use terminology that comes across as a bit confusing or anything like that, feel free to ask me anything in the questions, and I hope that you don't find the process of using a crafting machine intimidating in any way. It is a very beginner-friendly piece of technology. You barely need to know how to use a computer. It's like opening a website and you're in this very easy to use, very crafting-centric software. Once you get a workflow figured out, then it's easy breezy. You don't need to be a tech wizard or anything to use this, and it's so easy to import your artwork and images. But if you don't want to import your own artwork and images, Loklik also has a library that you can choose from, and that includes both graphics and also silhouettes if you mainly want to work with like heat transfer vinyl or anything like that, which the iCraft can also cut. And there you have it. That is how I make vinyl waterproof sticker sheets for my small business. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you learned something today, please consider subscribing to my channel, and I will be making more tutorials in the future. Thank you so much to Loklik for gifting me this incredibly appreciated crafting machine. I need to make over 2,000 sticker sheets for an event coming up in January, at the end of January, so this is going to be super appreciated. The Loklik iCraft is currently on an introductory offer, like a launch offer. It is heavily discounted. There is a bonus discount code, but you have to be quick if you want to get that. So it is in the description. I think it ends on January 15th, but I'll double check that and put it down there. My next tutorial is going to be either holographic stickers with the iCraft or holographic bookmarks. So let me know in the comments which one you would like to see, and I shall see you next time. Bye!